The first question, if I may, is
Yes.
what are thoughts exactly?
Thoughts are the imagined appearance within the consciousness. So when we think about a particular thing with an imagination of a future or a present or the past, so they are the thoughts. So they are in illusion only, which the screen for the appearance of thought is the consciousness. So when thoughts appear, the same consciousness becomes to be known as mind. It is there only because of imagination. No other truth is there.
Can we say that our thoughts are our thoughts from our mind, or are they actually from somewhere out, somewhere else?
Uh, the I itself is an imagined self which does not exist. So you can see the thoughts also, when they are not there at all, it doesn't make any sense to tell my thoughts. It is the mind's imagined thing. So that is the definition we can say. Mind has imagined, so that we call it as thoughts, which has no existence value actually.
When you say it doesn't have an existence value, the thoughts don't have any existence value, what do you mean by that? That they don't really exist?
That's what is known as illusion. A thing which appears to be there but does not really exist. Because of imagination, it is there, like you imagine an object or a character or a story in your mind. That is there because you have imagined, which is not a real existence.
Thank you. So somebody asked, in meditation, we're trying to control our thoughts or even stop our thoughts and imaginations. If we do that, if we develop the ability to stop imaginations, would that adversely affect the ability to be creative in art or music or writing?
Not at all. You don't have to go very deeply into meditation. It is your choice. If you don't want to go for a self realization, but just want to have peace or keep the mind under your control, then remain creative in this world. You can always continue. You won't be losing that ability or power. So it is always there within the consciousness. Consciousness has the ability to be creative, to imagine, to create. So when you practice, you are simply taking the mind under your control so that you can restrain. If you don't have to think, you can keep it quiet. If you have to think, you can always think. That power is there.
And can an imagination be useful? So to imagine a higher goal for a more spiritual life in that way, is imagination a good thing?
First, due to imagination, the self has been forgotten. And now the imagination can be useful only in this world. But, however, using the same imagination, you can motivate yourself to become quiet and realize the self. So, thus, diamond cutting the diamond. You cut the imagination through another imagination, which is a higher imagination, wanting to go to the truth. So, that way only it is helpful to motivate you, to inspire you. But a thought itself cannot give the truth. A thought has to disappear. A thought can be there so that you feel motivated and you feel inspired that you need to realize the self. That thing, that realization itself is a big thing.
So what about also good thoughts like kindness and happiness? Are they okay to cultivate, or should we also ignore those?
As long as you are in this world, you want to have a thought about this world. So it is recommended that you have a good thought. When you rise above that dualities and go to self, all disappears. There is neither good nor anything bad. If there is a bad in the world, you would require the good also. So because there is bad in the world is made up of dualities, as I tell. So here, so as long as you want to be in the world, to be in the world with a good is recommended, is better than to be in the world with a bad.
And why are some people prone to have negative thoughts?
The mind has become habitual due to selfishness and misidentification of self with the body. So thus mind itself has become narrow minded. Its thinking is very small. It thinks only for this body and not a larger cause. So that is how it has become negative also.
So those negative thoughts, are they also those 6 shapes of the mind that Babaji talks of?
Yes, all negative thoughts come under that 6 shapes of the thought headings that I keep talking, which are considered as the enemy of a human consciousness. The extreme greed, extreme anger, extreme attachment to impermanent world, and kama, krodha, lobha, extreme stinginess, stinginess, not to give anything to anybody. We want to hold all. We want all the 12 bananas. And false pride, unnecessary ego, that I am the only one who is the superior to everybody. So that type of thing. And jealousy. If anybody is progressing, if they are good, instead of appreciating, we feel jealous about them and we don't want them to be like that. So that is jealousy. So all negative thoughts come under these 6 headings. These 6 are the main shapes that the mind takes into. So it comes under this only.
So there are no positive shapes to the mind. We should try just to not have a mind taking any shape.
A positive thing, total opposite of all the 6 of these is the positive. So when you don't become greedy, you just work for your need and you accept that others also need. Like a happiness, you accept that others also are in need and have a right to have happiness as you want to happiness. So that is the overcoming the greed and going to the opposite. That is a positive thought. And to be compassionate, not to get into unnecessary anger for every smaller thing out of selfishness and narrow minded. So that is a positive thing, like that. So all the opposite of these 6 shapes are all positive. The same way, all of them come under those headings only.
Thank you, Babaji. So somebody asked, sometimes I find it difficult to only focus on positive thoughts because my mind begins to worry. Do you have any advice on how to overcome this habit of worrying?
As I told, this happens because of the misidentification of the self with the body. So, thus, the mind's thinking becomes narrow and selfish with this only. So, if we realize we are that all pervaded, our selfishness disappears and automatically we want the happiness for all. So that way it has to happen. So instead of this, if we are attached to the self as the physical body, that is the reason the negative thoughts comes always. We are unable to be happy or appreciate others. We are unable to accept. We want everything to be under our control only. So I am running this center and all devotees should come only to this center is that negative selfishness. If those people going to another center, we won't tolerate, we shout, we try to harm them. So these are all the negative things. Even in spite of people being on the devotional path, they behave like this, they think like this. That is why the negative things comes. Acceptance and appreciation is not there. It has to come. It will come when you practice meditation and the real bhakti, real devotion to the divine Guru. Then only your mind can become positive.
And sometimes we have thoughts that can be, as somebody described it, like an avalanche of thoughts, which totally overwhelms us at that moment. How can we deal with that outside of meditation at that moment when we feel overwhelmed by these thoughts?
Overwhelmed by negative thoughts or what?
It doesn't specify whether they're negative or attracted to the world or something. Any type of overwhelming thoughts.
It is advised that you need to control yourself. Otherwise, when it is overwhelming emotional things, it can become your weakness, it can be your strength. If you are on the right path, if you are on the positive thing, then your such overwhelming thoughts can become your strength. You can go towards divine. You have the thoughts towards your divine Guru. Otherwise, if you get simply attracted to a materialistic thing, impermanent world, an object matter, and then become overwhelmed, so that is your weakness. All your consciousness, the mind gets scattered, and you become totally negative, and that can lead into greed, anger, or any such things, ego, jealousy, false pride. So it might induce you to act upon negatively. You have to be very careful about this. That's why regular spiritual practices are necessary. You have to practice it as a way of life every day without fail. Then only the mind remains not only purified, under your control. Then you will be able to restrain and think properly in a positive way, see the reason, so accept the practicalities.
I think on a similar theme, somebody else said, in spite of meditating, they are getting a stronger attraction to worldly things. How can they deal with that?
A stronger attraction to the worldly things means you are actually not meditating. You might be sitting, closing the eyes, but you are not following the technical instructions properly. You have to remember these things. Be gentle to yourself, sitting comfortably, gently close the eyes, and then watch in between eyebrows. This is the basic command you have to remember. You have to just watch and not do anything. If you just watch, then your mind becomes purified. You listen to the master's instructions as if your commander is giving you the command. You cannot afford not to just watch, that type of thing. So you are a soldier. You just have to watch. And then do not repeat any mantra. Just concentrate in between eyebrows. And don't imagine about anything. Any thoughts, any vision come. If you don't hold on to it, they will all disappear. So then you will be able to overcome that greed towards impermanent worldly things. You will just remain only to your needs. You have to meditate properly.
Thank you. So as you said there, in meditation, we just watch. But thoughts arise. And you say we just watch that thought. But how can we watch it without it starting to become active, so it ends up as a stream of thoughts?
That's what the mind has a tendency to analyze and make judgments. There is a thin edge of difference when a thought appears, and that thought also has appeared within your mind, by the mind, through the mind only. But watching that, mind forgets this thought is there because of my imagination. Instead, the mind considers that thought to be a fundamental reality and gets involved with all emotions. So, thus, it analyzes again, it makes a judgment, then it absorbs another thought imprint. Like thought after thought, it keeps coming. So, when that thought appears, even if it is bad thought or good thought, you mentally don't call it a bad thought or a good thought. Ignore, don't get involved with that thought. That is important. That willpower you have to exercise. You will be able to do it. It is the same mind which has produced that thought, and the same mind must try to understand this thought is there because of my imagination, it has no existence value. If the mind can think and understand that, then it will be able to simply watch it. Let me watch. This is simply an imagination. This is not a reality. A thought is not a reality. Like that, you assure yourself and then just watch. Don't call it anything. Don't worry about that thought. Don't bother about that thought. Simply ignore. Then mind becomes quiet. Then that thought disappears. It dissolves. The thought is there as long as you hold on to the thought.
Thank you. So by watching, we're not holding on to the thought, we're ignoring the
Yeah.
thought.
Yes.
Okay. And what about contemplation? Some monks contemplate, perhaps they contemplate on death or impermanence. Is that different to meditation?
Yeah, during meditation, contemplation is not necessary. A contemplation is done so that you motivate, you try to find the reason, you reason it out, so that you develop that detachment, a better understanding to go into meditation. During meditation, you have to keep quiet. Before meditation, whenever, if at all, the thought has to come, then contemplate about the truth of the thought's existence, about our own self's existence, impermanence of the world, about birth and death of the physical body. It is not going to be there. Everything is impermanent. Like including our own body, the whole entire universe is impermanent. Everything has its own time frame, from 10 years, 100 years to billion years or billions of years, anything. Finally, it ends. So, that is the time limit. So, like that, you can contemplate before meditation and then try to meditate. Meditating means keeping quiet, just watching is the meditation.
Okay. And somebody asked about in japa, when they are practicing japa, should they think of the mantra or the deity or do something else during japa?
Just focus on the mantra when you are repeating the mantra. Don't bother anything about the mantra. Don't bother about the meaning. Don't bother about what it is. It is a sound effect. And you just focus and do the japa, repeat the mantra, and just remain focused on the mantra bas. The sound of the mantra that reverberates within your consciousness.
So when we're having thoughts, some people talk about multitasking, about doing 2 or 3 things at the same time. Is that really possible to have 2 or 3 thoughts in the mind at the same time?
Yeah, mind can get split into different focusing things. One can be baking the bread and listening to a music at the same time, and one can be talking, gossiping, and trying to bake a bread. Like that, it keeps happening. In the kitchen also, people can be talking to each other and then try to cook also. So these things. Then the focus is not 100%. It gets split when we do this one. If we remain focused on one work, some people while cooking, they don't want anybody to be around. They just want to remain focused. Any job, I'm talking only cooking means, just as an example, it came out of my mouth. But any such job, if you are focused, you just focused on the remain. Some of the giants of science we hear, they used to be so focused on their work, they even forgot that he got married the previous day. So like that is the effect of focus is necessary. Then you can bring out the maximum results.
So during your 20 years of service, when you were perhaps cooking, cleaning, shopping, each time you were doing that one task, you focused your mind on one thing.
Focus the mind on Swamiji actually. Sometimes I might have appeared doing a multitask also, keeping the milk on the flame and then just running to the restroom, then come back, then preparing the milk and keep it there, then bring a shoes to Swamiji, his dhoti to tie it up, like that. So many works in quick succession doing. At all time the mind used to be on Swamiji and his lotus feet. That was one task always. So the mind did not get involved or get scattered into different tasks, or it didn't go after the things that I was doing. The things probably I did mechanically by practice, and the consciousness remained on Swamiji.
So when your thoughts were remaining on Swamiji, were you trying to please Swamiji or hoping that he would be pleased with you, or was it just
No such thoughts that I have to please him or he needs to please. Just let the service reach his lotus feet. I myself didn't know what the meaning was. So I never had any other imagination that he should be pleased or he should love me or nothing. Just probably for sake of concentrating, I used to remember him and he used to be in my consciousness, and I didn't expect anything from him.
And if he was cross with you, that was the same as him being pleased with you?
Yes.
So intelligence, is intelligence the same as the mind or the brain?
I think in a simpler terminologies or language, if we try to understand, when the mind applies the brain to live in this world, to work in this world, to understand about this world, or behave in this world. So that is the intelligence application, what I have understood in my opinion. So intelligence belongs to this world. Otherwise, spiritually for the self, intelligence has no job at all. You don't have to discriminate anything, don't have to achieve anything. You have to remain quiet and just abide in the self. For that you don't need intelligence. You should know simply what you have to do. The intelligence is applied by using the brain, that you have to become quiet mentally. Do not allow the mind to get involved anywhere. That is all you have to know. So that is the intelligence, wisdom application. So that you can discriminate also. By applying the intelligence, you can discriminate. So when your mind can remain focused on any one thing, then your intelligence also works better. Your application of the brains are much better.
There was one question which I think you've addressed now, which was, is intelligence necessary for spirituality?
For spirituality, only to motivate yourself and discriminate that there has to be a real and the impermanent is the unreal. An appearance and disappearance means anything that has appeared and is going to disappear, whether it is now or 100 years or 100 billion years later or any time. So that is impermanent. So that discrimination is needed, and that is where your intelligence is helpful. That is why a human life is very precious. We talk in our teachings also. You have a well-developed brain, so you should be able to discriminate. That is the Viveka Chudamani, crest jewel of discrimination. This is done through this, an understanding comes. Okay, why the death has to happen? Who is going to die after all? So am I going to become extinct when I die, when the body dies, or am I going to exist in some other form? So this type of thinking are the application of intelligence. And intelligence is helpful in this regard when you use it to go towards the self. So once you get into the sadhana, like when you have to meditate, there you don't need intelligence. All the intelligence that is needed is you have to follow the instructions. Watch means what is watching, you have to understand. That intelligence is needed there. So you just have to watch. If you're not just watching by the eyeballs, watch through the mind also. That instructions, if you remember, if you listen properly every day, that every time we make you to sit for meditation, we instruct, pay attention to the instructions. Gently close the eyes, immediately close it. That's all. Don't keep looking. Some people keep looking here and there and they take their own time to close the eyes. Gently close the eyes are closed. That's it. And then concentrate your mind and sight in between eyebrows and just keep watching there, means just keep watching. Don't think, don't hold on to any thought, don't bother about any thought. Finish. You are just watching. Don't repeat anything, means don't question yourself, don't question the master, don't doubt anything. Master has asked not to repeat anything, no need to repeat. That's it. Finish. Don't imagine about anything. Let anything appear or doesn't appear, you don't imagine whether it is dark or white or color or what it is, ghosts or angels or nothing, appearance, this, that, nothing. Finish. Don't imagine. That's it. Then you are there. That is where you need to apply your intelligence. I have to watch. That is all I have to do. If anything else the mind is doing, means the intelligence has not been applied properly. So there the intelligence comes. No, I have to just watch and then watch.
So is that like using the mind to guard the mind, to keep them, using the mind to keep the mind under control?
Yeah, that means you have to apply the brain using the mind so that you can keep the mind under control. Now here, brain has to be your servant. You use that brain. Don't allow the brain to use you. Mean how whatever the brain reflects, don't simply go on accepting that as the truth or as the need or as the one which gives you happiness. Let the mind use the brain. Oh, Master has given these instructions. Now, to quieten the mind, I have to do this. Thus, you are using the brain. The brain is not using you here. That is intelligence. That is needed. Once that application is done, then you abandon. You need the car to reach back your home from the market. Once you have reached, you don't need the car into your kitchen. You just keep it in the garage and get out of the car and go to kitchen. So that's it.
Thank you, Babaji. So in daily life, how do we recognize which thoughts we should act on and which thoughts we should not act on?
This is what is again intelligence application. So if you practice meditation and spiritual sadhana, your mind gets stabilized. It overcomes the confusion. So then you will be able to see a larger cause which can give you a better happiness, real happiness. Then you apply and entertain only such thoughts. So whether losing this temper all the 24 hours, 12 months is necessary, I am losing my peace. Is it necessary, or just by losing the temper or getting into an angry mood, am I going to achieve anything? Like that you discriminate, understand. So these are the thoughts. Then you will be able to get into only such thoughts which are beneficial for you. And you will work. Whatever you need to sustain your physical body, whatever duties you have accepted as responsibility. Responsibility means a duty towards others, consideration to others, a larger cause. So if that makes sense for you, you go on doing that. Don't be selfish all the time. Oh, I just want to rob this person of his property. Why he is not giving his property to me? I am getting annoyed. It is his property. Why do you want to get annoyed with him? You don't have to have that property. You have your peace. You be satisfied with whatever you have. That's all. Let anybody have. A person might have a property in every town and city of this world. So let him have it. I have nothing to lose. I am at peace and happy. I am satisfied with whatever I have got. Like that, you have to use the intelligence, and these are the useful thoughts, and you act upon only those thoughts. If you go after others' properties all the world, you lose your peace, you get into a vengeance, and you lose your heart, you lose your character, everything. So that is how you try to discriminate whether I should act upon these thoughts. A negative thought might come that induces, that tempts you to act upon. Withdraw, no need. This is not needed. Why should I lose my peace? Why should I lose my contentment? I am contented, I am happy. I don't have to go anywhere. Let me be happy, at peace for myself. Like that you use. So if you practice meditation, if the mind becomes stabilized and purified, then you will be able to think in the right direction. You see, if we see people trying to meditate or on the spiritual path, in spite of that, if they are unable to overcome these negative thoughts, that means their sadhana is not good quality at all. They have not done sadhana at all. A person might be sitting for 40 to 50 years of meditation. If he is unable to overcome the selfishness and these things, negative thought, he has not done any sadhana at all. Immediately you can see. The doctor sees there is some wound. Your blood order is not proper. Immediately he understands there is something wrong. So when a person misbehaves, we quickly understand, oh, this person's sadhana is not good. He has not practiced meditation, or any sadhana he has taken, or any seva he is doing to God, he has not done properly. He has done only to attract appreciation, for ego satisfaction, for glamorous things. Then such people never change their characters. So these are the symptoms, for general educational purpose. I am telling. Please always understand, I repeat, my teachings are not directed against any individual or any group of individuals. It is only for purpose of education I answer. Sometimes people tell me, yeah, it appeared as if you are answering, you are directing your answers towards me. I said, no, I don't direct against anyone. General education. If you see, you will also learn.
Babaji, I think sometimes we do recognize ourselves in the point you're making, but that's for our benefit.
Somebody used to tell, Babaji today was using the double barrel gun. Not at all, not at all.
So Babaji, when our mind starts to stray, when it stops focusing on our own spiritual practice and starts making a judgment about other people or getting very negative, is the best thing to do to meditate or to do some other spiritual practice to break our mind away from that bad habit?
Yeah, definitely. You see, thin edge of difference is there. Sometimes, suppose if somebody had misbehaved with a larger cause of, like our institute, occasionally to narrate what really that person did, I might narrate to some of our friends or some gatherings, but I would not become habitual to entertain hatred, to entertain any dislike, all the 24 hours thinking about that person only. If I do that one, then I am not spiritual. I have no spiritual sadhana at all. So that's when, so if any such thoughts are coming repeatedly, all the 24 hours, long time you are unable to forget, then immediately get into sadhana, meditation or bhakti, remember God, try to sing the glory of the divine, devotional song. So all exercises are available. Take a dust and start dusting at the Master's lotus feet, at his place, Sanidhya. Anyway, all these things, plenty of exercises are available. Just keep yourself busy. Don't allow your mind to become a devil's workshop. Keep yourself busy, you will forget the things.
Wow. Thank you very much, Babaji. Those are the questions that were sent in. Oh, there's one or two been sent in just now. Have we time for me to read those, Babaji?
We'll take a couple of questions if that's
Uh-huh.
it.
The question is, when a thought is obsessive and I'm unable to drop it, as you suggest, and I'm stuck in the foolish thoughts, do you suggest a way for me to not disconnect from these obsessive thoughts or the root cause?
Yeah, as we were discussing for the previous question also, spiritual sadhanas, and try to reason out. By getting obsessively to those negative thoughts, you are the first casualty. You are harming yourself before you can harm anybody else. Say you are entertaining, just for example, anybody, you means anybody. If you are entertaining a negative thought and you become obsessive with it, you are unable to forget. Gradually, it might induce you to go into a bad karma, bad activities. You might become jealous, you might become anger, entertain, and try to spread those things. So you have become mentally habitual, your mind is gone, it has become totally corrupted now, and it cannot remember God, it cannot meditate, it cannot think of helping anybody, it cannot think of any positive thought. And then physically also now you are trying to do the wrong karma. So many things can happen. So beware. Immediately take actions to overcome such thoughts. Immediately, instantly get into sadhana. Remember the divine Guru. Remember the divine. Remember what you are thinking is unnecessary. Just by thinking, you cannot harm anybody. You take an action if it was an injustice. That is a different thing. If we are trying to protect a larger cause, like we took sometimes action to protect this ashram, this institution, it was for a larger cause, so that others can come and sit here peacefully and do sadhana. That was all the reason. No personality clash, no personal hatreds, no personal dislike. I don't entertain such thoughts also. I keep forgetting. Sometimes my people tell, Baba, before you forget these things, quickly please act upon something that is necessary. Otherwise, the next moment you forget. So we forget, that's it, over. So just an answer, only for educational purpose.